Hey guys, Abram here back again with another video, and today I'm going to be doing my predictions for top 5 possible returning props for 2022 of next year. Now these props are only going to be, of course, sold for 2021, like new props for 2021, and these are going to be solely based on which props were like the most popular and stuff, and these are kind of my opinions, so they might be different from yours, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So for number 5, we have what I think was probably the most popular, licensed character of the year. Maybe, I don't know. This is just the one that I've seen was the most popular, and that was Shorty from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. This prop was super duper popular. Yeah, it was a really cool prop. I have personally never seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I have seen images of Shorty though, and it is very accurate to how he actually looks in the movie. And I know that a lot of people really, really love this prop. Whether you're a clown fan or not, a lot of people just really like this prop because of the character. You know, Shorty is an iconic character of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And yeah, I think it was an absolutely great choice of character to choose from that movie. I think the size on him was really good. The detailing on him was some of the most incredible detailing we've ever seen on a licensed prop. And I think that he does have a very, very good chance of returning, like how Sam did and how Pennywise did from 2019. And yeah. And for number 4, we have Mr. Hal, who was one of the very first animatronics actually to be revealed to us for the 2021 season, or at least to be hinted for us. Anyways, Mr. Hal was such an incredible prop. He was one of the first ones, I think, to actually ever be in most of the stores because of all like the shipping delays and stuff. He was one of the first ones to actually arrive in the stores, and he was just so popular. Like, he is definitely the best werewolf that we have seen in a long time, and that definitely showed. So many people got him. He was just such a big seller. I think he is for sure going to return next year. He might not return as a display, but I think he's definitely going to come back next year for sure. I think he'll even be a great seller next year. Yeah, I have no doubt that he will probably be in stores next year. Just everything about him, the detailing, the size of him was just absolutely massive. Definitely a great werewolf prop. For number 3, we have my personal favorite clown prop, maybe of all time, and a lot of other people's favorite clown props too, which is Henry Hustle. This is, of course, like a new clown prop for this year. This is probably one of the more unique clowns that we've ever seen in a while. He's made by Crazy Crate, which I'm pretty sure has never done any clowns before until him and Harriet Hustle. But Henry Hustle was just such a good seller. Just like Mr. Howe, he was like one of the first ones to be revealed to us, and man, he was just such a good seller. He is just awesome, honestly. I know, in the beginning, I didn't think too highly of him because I'm not the biggest clown person. But after seeing him in stores, I think the scare effect will really scare some people. And I am more of a fan of the vintage clown look, as a lot of people are. And that first head definitely is like a vintage clown looking head. It is super cool looking. And of course, the second head, the scary head, is also very nice too. Just everything about this clown prop is just really, really cool, and it's definitely a step up from some of the SVI ones, in my opinion. The only thing is that I think next year they're probably going to give him an updated mechanism. This is how Crazy Crate usually is. They did it with Jack Straw, Demonic Dahlia, where they gave them an updated mechanism in 2020, and I think this is probably how it's going to be for Henry Hustle, because he does have some problems with the mechanism, but he was still a great seller, and for that reason, I think he is definitely going to come back for 2022. For the number 2 spot, I put Grimm in here, and I think this is a very good choice because Grimm was such a huge seller this year. He is for sure a lot of people's number 1 favorites of all time. He's one of my favorites of all time. I wouldn't say number 1 favorite, but he is definitely up there in my list. He is just such a cool and classic prop. He's a classic skeleton, which even though, skeletons are generic Halloween monsters, we haven't seen a life-size skeleton animatronic in a while. And this one is just super duper cool. It has those servo motors, so he has so much movement on him. And I think just everyone loved him because he was just so realistic, for like a somewhat cartoonish skeleton. He just had a lot of realistic movement, and who knows? Next year they might change some things up. They might give him smoother animation, even though he already had some pretty smooth animation. I don't really know what they can change about Graham. He's pretty much a perfect skeleton, perfect classic skeleton. I think he will definitely return next year, and I think he'll still be a good seller next year. Before we get into our number one spot, though, I would like to give an honorable mention to the caretaker. Now, this guy was honestly probably the least bought, but the main reason for that was for some strange reason the caretaker was just left behind. He was barely in any stores. So that's why I think he might return for next year, because I think Spirit might just market him as a brand new prop for 2022, because he only showed up in a few stores, and these images come from Spirit Fanboy 35, I believe the name was of the channel. Anyways, that's why I think he might return next year. I'm not too sure. He might just be an online only, probably, but he does have a fair chance. And finally, to no one's surprise, for number one, we have Mr. Dark. This guy is the most popular Spirit Halloween prop probably ever of all time. Definitely a ton of people's number one favorite of all time. Again, just like Graham, he's definitely one of my favorites of all time. Just everything about this prop is super duper cool. He is no doubt going to return next year, most likely in store. I just can't see why they wouldn't return him. That would be really dumb if they don't return him for next year, because he was just such a good seller. And I know a lot of these broke, so they are probably going to update his mechanism for next year. Hopefully, I don't know. But yeah, I definitely see this guy returning for next year. I'm sure he's going to be probably still one of the store's biggest sellers for next year, even as an older prop. And I see this guy becoming like a flashback animatronic in the future, from like years from now. I see him returning, just like how Wacky Mo and Uncle Charlie did. I see him as like an instant classic already, just because of his jump scare and just his overall look. I do think next year, though, just like the other props, they might fix a few things, like the mechanism, of course, but also they might give him like slightly new paint jobs, more detailing in the head, I think, because I think that was a big issue that a lot of people had, was that he just wasn't detailed enough for the kind of prop that he is. But other than that, I do think that Mr. Dark is for sure going to return for next year, and if he doesn't, that'll probably be the dumbest decision I think Spirit has ever made, unless they have some kind of like technical issue or something where the Techie can't make any more Mr. Darks. I don't know what the issue could be, but I think he definitely will return for next year. Anyways, guys, that'll do it for this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me your thoughts on my choices, and tell me if you think otherwise, if you think someone else like Harriet Hustle might become one of the returning props for next year. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.